You know you have been an inspiration to my entire life.
Morgan Freeman is a name synonymous with cinematic excellence. His voice alone carries an almost mythical quality.
I had a voice and diction instructor.
A deep, resonant sound that has guided audiences through the most profound stories of modern cinema. Over the course of his illustrious career, he has played everything from world leaders to hardened criminals, from wise mentors to deeply flawed men battling against fate. There is an effortless authority to his presence, a kind of natural command that makes his performances unforgettable. Whether in historical dramas, crime thrillers, or intimate character studies, Freeman's ability to inhabit a role with quiet intensity has made him one of the most celebrated actors of his generation. Yet, when asked to name his own favorite films from his storied career, Freeman's choices were surprising. Many assumed that The Shawshank Redemption would be the first title out of his mouth. The 1994 prison drama has endured as a cultural touchstone. Often cited as one of the greatest films ever made, fans continue to re-watch it, quote it, and rank it above all others.
A free man at the start of a long journey, whose conclusion is uncertain.
Freeman's performance as Ellis Red Redding is widely regarded as one of his best, bringing warmth, wisdom, and heartbreak to the screen. But for Freeman, the experience of making it was not as transformative as it was for those who watched it. "I'm sorry, it's everybody else's favorite, not necessarily mine," he admitted, shaking off the expectation that he must share the public's adoration. He recognized the film's impact, but for him, it was simply another project, an intense, methodical shoot rather than a deeply personal journey. "I know everybody loves it, and I'm very happy that everybody loves it. I made it. It was a day-to-day thing of shooting it." That kind of blunt honesty separates Freeman from many of his peers. He does not look back at his career with a need to validate public opinion. Instead, his choices reflect something deeper, roles that challenged him, stories that carried meaning beyond the screen, and performances that pushed him into new territory. At the heart of his selections is Invictus, a film that seemed destined to find its way to him. "I felt destined to do something about Mandela," Freeman said, recalling his long-standing connection to the South African leader's story. In 1992, Mandela was asked who he would want to play him if his autobiography were ever adapted into a film. His response was immediate: Morgan Freeman. For Freeman, this was no ordinary casting opportunity. It was a kind of anointment, a moment of recognition from a man whose legacy had shaped the modern world. Playing Mandela in Invictus required more than just physical transformation. The film focuses on a pivotal chapter in post-apartheid South Africa, when Mandela used the country's rugby team as a tool for unity. Freeman's performance captures the man's strategic brilliance, his unwavering patience, and his understanding that true leadership often involves gestures that transcend politics. It was not about grand speeches or soaring rhetoric, it was about calculated steps toward a greater goal. Freeman embodied this with a performance that was understated but deeply powerful. For him, Invictus was not just another biopic. It was the fulfillment of something Mandela himself had foreseen. That connection gave it a weight that no amount of critical acclaim or awards could match. It was more than a film. It was a personal honor, one that Freeman carried with the same dignity that defined Mandela himself. Another choice that speaks to Freeman's preference for films with historical and social weight is Glory. The 1989 war drama tells the story of the 54th Massachusetts Infantry, one of the first all-black regiments to fight in the American Civil War. Very few people knew about the 54th or any black involvement in the Civil War, Freeman said, highlighting why the film mattered to him beyond just his own performance. Glory is not just about battle, it is about recognition, about reclaiming a piece of history that had been largely erased from mainstream narratives. Freeman plays Sergeant Major John Rawlins, a man who carries the burden of leadership while understanding the stakes of what is at hand. His role is not the loudest, nor the most dramatic, but it is one of the most significant. He represents a generation of black soldiers whose courage was often ignored, and his presence in the film is a testament to that overlooked sacrifice. That same sense of purpose extends to Street Smart, a film that did not achieve commercial success, but remains one of Freeman's most transformative roles. Released in 1987, the crime drama was a financial failure, but it showcased a side of Freeman that many had not seen before. He played Fast Black, a violent and unpredictable pimp whose charm masks his ruthless nature. It was a departure from the roles he had played up to that point, and one that required him to embrace a level of menace that was completely foreign to him. "I went about as far away from me as I could get in terms of acting," Freeman admitted, describing the challenge of embodying such a brutal character. "Everything else, You know, you pull something out of you. Not that I wasn't pulling stuff out of me in terms of my action with the ladies, but to me, it was more alien to who I really am. The role earned Freeman his first Oscar nomination and forced audiences to see him in a new light. Fast Black is terrifying precisely because Freeman plays him with an unsettling charisma, a veneer of charm that barely conceals the raw cruelty beneath. It was a performance that proved he was not just a character actor, not just a reliable supporting presence. He was capable of something far more visceral, far more dangerous. It is a testament to Freeman's versatility that he also includes Driving Miss Daisy on his list of personal favourites. The 1989 drama is both beloved and controversial, a film that explores racial dynamics through a lens that some have argued is overly sentimental. Freeman plays Hoke Colburn, a black chauffeur in the American South, opposite Jessica Tandy's wealthy white widow. For Freeman, the film was a turning point. It brought him international recognition and showcased his ability to command a narrative without raising his voice. Hoke is not a man who demands respect. He earns it through quiet dignity, through patience, through an understanding that his role in the world is defined by more than just how others see him. Freeman's performance in Driving Miss Daisy is built on restraint. He allows silence to do the work, letting small gestures and careful expressions carry the weight of the story. It is a film that does not rely on sweeping monologues or grand emotional moments, yet its impact lingers long after the credits roll. For Freeman, it was a defining moment, a role that solidified his place as one of Hollywood's most compelling actors. The final film on his list, Lean on Me, is perhaps the most outwardly powerful of the five. Freeman plays Joe Clark, a real-life principal tasked with saving a failing school through sheer force of will. Clark is a man of extremes, using tough love and unorthodox methods to break cycles of failure and apathy. "It was one of the best things I did," Freeman said, embracing the film's portrayal of education as a battlefield. His performance is electric, filled with a raw energy that makes Clark both inspiring and infuriating. He is a man who believes in discipline to the point of obsession, and Freeman brings that to life with a performance that is both commanding and deeply human. Taken together, Freeman's choices reveal a pattern. He is drawn to stories that matter, to films that carry a sense of purpose beyond entertainment. His favourites are not necessarily the ones that brought him the most accolades or the most box office success. They are the ones that challenged him, that asked something more of him as an actor. There is a kind of quiet defiance in Freeman's selections. He does not chase legacy in the way that Hollywood often does. He does not build his self-image around fan expectations. Instead, he gravitates towards roles that demand something more, whether that is a confrontation with history, a deep personal transformation, or a step into uncomfortable territory. For all the reverence and acclaim, Freeman's career is defined not by the films audiences hold dear, but by the ones that shaped him in ways they may never fully understand. His choices reflect an artist who is not content to rest on admiration, but who continues to seek meaning in the craft that has defined his life.